Hello, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. Hey, I have a very special guest with me today, Alex Mauri from US Law Shield, who's here to discuss the benefits of being a US Law Shield member, in particular to what the benefits are to you here in Washington State. So, Alex, thank you very much for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Bill.
Hey, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, where you grew up, some of your firearms familiarity, and how you eventually came to be with US Law Shield?
Sure. I've been with US Law Shield a short time now. I came on December 1st. I am the Inland Northwest sales manager, so I oversee Washington State, Idaho State, and Montana. Prior to my role here at US Law Shield, I was in law enforcement. I was a police officer up in North Idaho at the Coeur d'Alene Police Department. I did that for just shy of 4 years. And prior to my experience in law enforcement, I was in the Marine Corps. I served 5 years in the Marine Corps. I spent my entire time in the infantry, and I got out in 2017 with 1st Battalion, 1st Marines. I have a unique background in carrying a gun for a living. And with that, seeing the aftermath of violence and the aftermath of self defense. My unique perspective on firearms, self defense related issues piqued my curiosity to the civilian sector. And when I realized that there was a role like this available where I could stay in the industry that I love being in and help protect Americans in a different way, it was a no brainer to join the U.S. Law Shield team.
So, why don't you tell the viewers here what exactly does US Law Shield do?
U.S. Law Shield is the nation's premier legal defense for self defense program. The common term you'll hear people throw out is concealed carry insurance. But the meat and potatoes are this: we are a membership based service where we defend our members from liability arising from self defense situations, whatever that looks like. We cover civil and criminal liability in all self defense encounters, not just firearms, which is why we lean away from the term concealed carry insurance. We cover our members in any self defense with a legal weapon. That could be fists, that could be knives, that could be a car, and that could be a gun. Anytime there is a self defense claim to be made with a legal weapon, we will cover our members' liability.
Okay, but you and I have both run into this, and when I talk to people in this state, a lot of folks think, "Hey, that's either too good to be true," or a misconception is that this types of insurance coverage is not even allowed in the state of Washington. As a matter of fact, and you're probably aware of this, our attorney general in the state has even referred to this type of insurance as murder insurance, and we know that some other companies who provide mildly similar services have run into all kinds of problems here trying to even do business in the state. So what is unique about US Law Shield as it relates to Washington State?
You're 100% correct, Bill. I hear the term murder insurance all the time, and to be honest, a lot of the time we don't get the time of day from Washington residents because they've heard so long that this program is simply not available in Washington State. And up until recently, that is correct. Washington State did kick out the industry in a whole in 2019, and U.S. Law Shield is the only company of its type back practicing in Washington State, and we're able to do that through working with the Washington Insurance Commission and putting forth an admitted insurance product. So in the state of Washington, although it's no concern of our members, our core coverage is the exact same as our other states. In Washington State, we were required to become an insurance company, and that's exactly what we did.
Okay, has anyone else in our field been able to do this other than US Law Shield in Washington State?
As of today, no. U.S. Law Shield is the only program operating in Washington State of its type.
Interesting. Earlier when we were talking, you mentioned something about using any type of legal weapon in a self-defense scenario. Can you expand on that a little bit more so our viewers have an understanding of the services that US Law Shield provides?
Absolutely. Too often, when people are looking into this type of coverage, they're thinking about the statistical anomaly of being involved in a self defense situation with a firearm. And the thing always in the forethought of their mind is a murder charge. Although we cover that, and although that should be concern of law abiding gun owners, statistically, you're much more likely to be involved in a self defense counter of a lower level of force. That could be you're charged with a bar fight, you're charged with assault, you're charged with battery. Anytime you defend yourself, US Law Shield is going to be there for you. We don't differentiate on what the weapon used was, as long as it was a legal weapon in that jurisdiction. I can't cover you with a machine gun if you don't have the proper federal paperwork in place. However, I can cover you with your fist, your knife, your car, your frying pan, whatever the weapon is. As long as it's legal, we will cover that.
Now, if I understand correctly, U.S. Law Shield has an individual attorney for each member within their state. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. Do the members have access to those attorneys only in times of emergency, or what sort of access does U.S. Law Shield provide to the program attorneys in each state?
Great question. An educated gun owner is a gun owner who's not getting himself into trouble. We want our members to be able to get their complicated gun law questions answered before the law is involved. We're able to do that by offering our members a phone number, a non-emergency number, to our program attorneys where they can call during business hours, get a call back within 72 hours, and ask any gun law related question so they're on the up and up before a situation arises with law enforcement. We
So,
also host, sorry to cut you off, Bill.
no, go ahead.
We also host events in our communities where we bring these very attorneys in to go over hot button issues like updates on that state's gun law. We have one coming up here in Idaho on civil unrest. I know a lot of people are very concerned with civil unrest, and there's new self-defense situations that are running through people's mind that they've never considered before. The one that we see often is, how can I defend myself when I'm involved in a protest?
Right.
We might have a large gathering blocking a freeway and people are approaching my vehicle. What are my rights to self-defense in a situation like that? And those are the kind of educational pieces that we put on with our partnered facilities and for our members. And those are often no cost to our members.
So, unfortunately, with Second Amendment self-defense issues, it often appears to be kind of a moving target, and there's so much politics involved in this. We won't bore our listeners with that today, but clearly the lawful and responsible gun owner, what we preach here at Washington Gun Law, is the one that is constantly educated. So it would appear that one of the best services you get is that ability to literally have minute-to-minute updates on the changing legal environment for firearm owners and for those who might have to use self-defense.
You're 100% correct. It seems like as gun law gets more complicated, you essentially have to be attorney to understand all these new changes and all these proposed changes. Short of going out and getting a doctorate and becoming an attorney, the next best step is having one at your disposal. As you know, Bill, retaining an attorney for just your general questions can be very expensive. The average American does not have an attorney on retainer that they can reach out to.
It's true.
Our program is $10.95 a month, and we cover all liability, but we also allow our members to access an attorney to get these questions answered so they're better educated and better protected.
That's great. So, we were talking also about how just this particular time in our history where we're in. So what would you say to people who are considering joining U.S. Law Shield about why is now the right time for them to consider this?
I think our viewers just need to turn on the news and the answer will be there. This is unprecedented times for the Second Amendment and for lawful gun owners. There are bills out there, both at state and federal levels, that will essentially turn law-abiding gun owners into criminals overnight.
Yeah.
In addition to the legislation and legislative side of things, crime is on a rise in every city across America. You can turn on the news and see crime rates in the 3-digit increase from last March. In Seattle,
in the same communities where there is a segment of the population crying to defund the police department as crime is escalating.
Exactly. There's been no successful program in history that has gotten better by taking away money from it. Yet these cities are exploring that option, and it's failing on its face. And Washington is certainly no exception to this.
That's right.
Our program is less than $11 a month, and it gives people the peace of mind to be able to carry a firearm, to feel more confident that if they're involved in a self-defense situation or they're subject to one of these unconstitutional laws that we're now starting to see, they're going to have that legal protection in place. Now is the best time to do it.
You and I have been talking before we tape this, and we've been talking off the record on this. But the truth is that I've been talking to a lot of lawful and responsible gun owners. I'm sure you have as well too. That just really believe that their Second Amendment rights have probably never been under more siege than they currently are right now. And in addition to some of the self-defense things, what other constitutional protections that can services from U.S. Law Shield help with our members?
U.S. Law Shield does not just represent our members on self defense, we protect our members' Second Amendment rights. If our members find themselves victim to an unconstitutional law, like Washington's red flag laws that are of concern of all Washington gun owners, or they should be, if
Right?
our members are victim to one of these unconstitutional laws, we will cover them and we will represent them in whatever that may be. We do not just offer self defense coverage. We are a Second Amendment company at heart, and we strive to protect the Second Amendment rights of our members.
Listen, I know you've already mentioned that this service costs, I think, $10.95 a month. But as I understand it, Law Shield has some add-on services that members can also enjoy the benefits of. You want to kind of explain that to our listeners as well?
Absolutely. I think it's important just to discuss from the get go that there's no tiers to our membership. All members, whether they're the lowest paying member of 1095 a month, have unlimited protection from criminal and civil cases. And when I say unlimited, what I'm talking about is there's no caps, there's no limits, and there's no deductibles to our service. There's also no reimbursements. We pay the legal bills up front so our members don't have to come up with that kind of cash in the hopes of being reimbursed. All 1095 a month members have that protection. We have a few options that I like to refer to as the a la carte options that might be applicable to one American but not applicable to the other. So we let our members pick if they want that specific coverage.
It's like what?
Washington State has three.
Okay.
So first and foremost, we have multi-state protection. Multi-state protection is an additional $295 a month, so it brings your monthly coverage to $1390. And what that does is it allows you to have the same protections in all 50 states and Puerto Rico. So if you're an individual like myself that finds themselves on the road and you end up in other states, multi-state coverage is something you're definitely going to want to look into.
Yeah.
So you have that peace of mind across the nation. Additionally, the second option we have in Washington State is minor child protection. What minor child protection is, at $2 a month, we cover all children in the household of our members. What we cover is for the unthinkable, the situation that we all fear in the back of our mind of having guns around children. If you accrue liability from an unthinkable act after a child gets access to a weapon, we will cover that. But we also cover self-defense involving minors. Now that could be a burglar in the middle of the night breaking in, and your trained child defends himself or defends the property within the law. But it could also be a bullying situation on the schoolyard where that child has to defend himself from a bully.
Right.
We will get you an attorney for that suspension hearing, for that school administrative hearing. Your kid has a right to self-defense as well, and we cover that. And like I touched on, that's $2 per household, and it covers all the kids you have.
All the kids.
All the kids. I don't care if you have one kid or if you have seven, we will cover every child in your household.
Well, hey, Alex, this sounds. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine. The third coverage we have in Washington State is one of my personal favorite add-ons. It's called Hunter Shield. What Hunter Shield does is for $295 a month, we will cover you in any violations, unintentional violations of Fish and Game Code. So if you find yourself facing a game warden over an unintentional Fish and Game Act, which all too often lawful hunters and fishermen make unintentional mistakes.
Yeah.
It's so easy to do in that realm of law. If you find yourself facing a charge for a Fish and Game violation, we will represent you in whatever that looks like as well.
Hey, listen, this sounds all really good. Why don't you tell our viewers here, how does a person go out and sign up for U.S. Law Shield if they're interested?
There's two ways to do that, Bill. The first is to text promo code DAC1, phonetically, that's Delta Adam Charles 1, to phone number 281-603-0066. And I'll repeat that number, 281-603-0066. When you text that promo code to that number, you'll get a generated link. Click that link, it will take you to our sign up page, and you'll get our Platinum Plus membership. What the Platinum Plus membership is you're locked in at your rate for life. So right now it's $10.95 a month. You will be locked in at that for life, and you get 2 free months when you sign up for an annual membership. So you get 14 months for the price of 12. The other way to get that Platinum Plus membership is going onto our website at uslawshield.com, clicking the Join Now tab at the top, filling out the application, and at the very bottom before you check out, there's a spot to input a promo code. Go ahead and use that same promo code, DAC1, and you'll get signed up with those same benefits of a Platinum Plus membership.
That's fantastic. Hey, Alex, thank you so much for being here with us and providing all that really valuable information on US Law Shield. For those of you watching at home, feel free to visit us at washingtongunlaw.com. Click there on the US Law Shield link if you want, and you can go directly to their page and sign up for their services. The time is now to protect yourself so that you can protect those that you care about. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.